Have you ever been in a situation where someone you care about suddenly just stops talking to you? I don't mean they need an hour to cool off. I mean they shut down completely. No texts, no calls, no eye contact. Just a wall of silence. It feels confusing, painful, and deeply personal. You might be experiencing the silent treatment, a favorite weapon in the narcissist's emotional arsenal. And today, we're going to break down exactly what it is, why they do it, and most importantly, how you can reclaim your power and break free from this toxic cycle. First, let's be crystal clear about what the silent treatment really is. It is not the same as someone saying, "I'm overwhelmed, I need some space to think." A healthy timeout is about self-regulation. The silent treatment is a deliberate and calculated form of emotional punishment. The narcissist intentionally withholds communication, affection, and even simple acknowledgement of your existence. Why? To reassert their control, to make you chase them, and to destabilize your sense of reality. For them, silence isn't an absence of noise. It's an active form of pressure, a psychological chokehold designed to make you bend to their will. It's not about them needing peace. It's about them wanting power over your peace. So, why do narcissists resort to this? The simple answer is, because it works. They don't use silence because they're calm or introspective. They use it as a tool to achieve specific goals. They use it to punish you for a perceived slight. Maybe you set a boundary, disagreed with them, or simply didn't provide the level of admiration they crave. It triggers your anxiety, making you desperate to fix whatever you supposedly did wrong, which often leads to you apologizing for things you didn't even do. This allows them to completely avoid accountability for their own behavior. By making you feel insecure and desperate, they feel superior and powerful. In their mind, your emotional pain is the scoreboard, and your suffering proves that they are winning. This isn't about resolving conflict. It's about resetting the power dynamic firmly in their favor. If you've been on the receiving end of this, you know how utterly disorienting it is. This is the very reason so many people end up searching for answers online. It messes with your mind in a profound way. Victims of the silent treatment often experience a tidal wave of emotions. There's the initial confusion. What did I do? Everything was fine an hour ago. Then comes the guilt. This must be my fault. I must have said or done something to cause this. This quickly morphs into panic. Are they going to leave me? Is this the end? A deep sense of shame can follow, making you question your own worth. Why am I not good enough for them to even talk to me? And finally, desperation kicks in. I'll do anything. I'll apologize for everything. Just please talk to me. This state of raw vulnerability is precisely the emotional landscape the narcissist wants to create. It makes you pliable and easy to control. Let's look at the psychological mechanics at play here because it's fascinating and frightening. The silent treatment acts like a psychological vacuum. Our brains are hardwired to seek connection and predictability, and they absolutely hate uncertainty. When someone suddenly cuts off communication, your brain goes into overdrive trying to solve the problem. It starts filling the deafening silence with worst-case scenarios, and most often, self-blame. You become hyper-focused on the narcissist, scrutinizing their every micro-expression, waiting for a sign, a crumb of acknowledgement. In this state of high alert, your own needs, your own feelings, and your own perspective get completely pushed to the side. The silent treatment literally trains your brain to create a powerful and toxic association. Their approval equals emotional safety, while their silence equals terrifying danger and abandonment. This conditioning is incredibly difficult to break. This isn't usually a one-time event. Narcissistic silence almost always becomes a repeating, predictable cycle. It begins with a trigger. You might have said no to something, asserted a personal boundary, or failed to give them the praise they felt they deserved. Next comes the withdrawal phase. They shut down. They ignore your texts, let your calls go to voicemail, and avoid eye contact, sometimes even when you're in the same room. This is when your anxiety skyrockets. You start to spiral, overthinking every recent interaction, replaying conversations in your head, and often you end up apologizing profusely just to end the torment. Finally, they grant you their reward. Once they feel you've been sufficiently punished and are compliant again, they return. They might act as if nothing ever happened, leaving you even more confused. This cycle, trigger, withdrawal, anxiety, reward, is then reset, waiting for the next offense. Each time you go through it, their psychological control over you becomes stronger. So why do they suddenly break the silence? A narcissist's return is almost never about love, remorse, or a genuine desire to reconnect. They end the silent treatment for strategic reasons. They might decide you've suffered enough and have learned your lesson. More likely, they need something from you: money, a favor, or simply an ego boost. Perhaps another source of their narcissistic supply, another person giving them attention, has dried up, and they're circling back to you. But here's the most important reason. They might come back because you've stopped reacting. Your begging and pleading is their fuel. When you stop providing it, their weapon becomes useless. Their biggest fear is becoming irrelevant to you. So remember, their return is not a sign of their love. It's a calculated move to regain their supply and re-engage you in their game. It's crucial to understand the difference between a healthy timeout and the narcissistic silent treatment. A healthy partner might say, "I'm feeling too angry to talk right now. I need 20 minutes to cool off, but I promise we will finish this conversation." Or, "I'm not in the right headspace for this. Can we please talk about it tomorrow morning?" Notice that these statements are defined, respectful, and reaffirm a commitment to resolving the issue. A narcissistic silent treatment, on the other hand, is indefinite. You have no idea when it will end. It is explicitly punishing. It's unpredictable, used as a tool to control you, and it is entirely designed to make you feel responsible for fixing their emotional discomfort. One is about de-escalation. The other is about domination. Now, for the most important part. How do you break free from this trap? This is where the power shift truly happens. First, and this is the foundation for everything else, you must name it for what it is. The moment you stop thinking, "What did I do wrong?" and start thinking, "This is a deliberate act of emotional manipulation," you take back control. You stop personalizing their abusive behavior and stop dancing to their silent, menacing tune. Second, and this is the hardest step, but also the most powerful, you must stop chasing the silence. This means you do not beg. You do not send long, emotional texts explaining your feelings. You do not apologize for simply existing. When you stop trying to break down the wall they've built, their weapon loses all its power. The silence is only a weapon if you treat it like one. If you treat it like an adult temper tantrum, it becomes just that: pathetic and ineffective. Third, set a calm, clear boundary. This doesn't require a dramatic speech. It should be short, firm, and without any pleading. Something like, "I am open to talking about this when you're ready to communicate respectfully. Until then, I'm going to give myself some space." And then, and this is key, you have to follow through. You disengage. You turn your focus back to yourself. This leads to the fourth step: self-soothe rather than self-blame. The silent treatment is designed to trigger your deepest wounds of abandonment and unworthiness. So you have to actively take care of your emotional nervous system. Practice deep breathing. Journal your thoughts to get them out of your head. Talk to a trusted friend, a therapist, or a family member who understands and can validate your reality. Remind yourself of the truth over and over if you have to. Their silence is about their need for control, not about your inherent worth. Fifth, when they inevitably come back and act like nothing happened, do not reward their behavior. This is crucial for breaking the cycle. Don't leap into their arms with relief. Don't immediately shower them with affection. Don't pretend the pain and anxiety they caused just didn't happen. You don't have to be cold or vengeful, but you can be neutral. You can say, "I'm glad you're ready to talk. Your silence was hurtful, and we need to discuss how we're going to handle conflict better in the future." You decide the tone now. You are no longer rewarding them for punishing you. The long-term solution is to build your emotional independence. This is where true freedom grows. When your peace, your joy, your identity, and your stability no longer depend on their moods or reactions, their silence becomes what it always was: just noise, or rather, a lack of it. It no longer holds any power over you because your emotional well-being is sourced from within yourself, not from them. Be prepared for pushback. When you start implementing these changes, you are disrupting the system that has worked so well for the narcissist. They will likely escalate. They might try to guilt trip you, telling you how cruel you're being. They might play the victim, or they might even try love bombing you to pull you back into the old dynamic. See this for what it is: proof that what you're doing is working. You are taking back control, and they are panicking. Stay steady. Finally, and this is a hard truth, if the silent treatment is a recurring, severe pattern that is causing significant emotional damage, sometimes the only way to break free is to walk away entirely. Leaving a toxic relationship is not a sign of weakness. It is an act of profound self-respect and self-preservation. It is you choosing your own sanity and peace. The silent treatment is not really about silence. It's about power and control. But when you stop reacting to it, when you stop personalizing it, and when you start naming it for the manipulation it is, you take all of that power back. Quietly, confidently, and permanently. You deserve to be in relationships where communication is a bridge, not a weapon. Thank you for watching. If this resonated with you, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more content on navigating difficult relationships and reclaiming your life. Take care.